Alrighty, hello and welcome. Today I'll be doing a brief tutorial on how to start creating custom content for The Sims 4. I'll provide a brief overview of the tools I'll be using and the topics I'll be covering with this tutorial. As of now, this is just the very basics: how to get Sims 4 Studio set up, the user interface, and how to do basic texture editing. The tools that I will be using for this tutorial are Sims 4 Studio and FireAlpaca. I will go over the download and installation of both of these. You do not have to use FireAlpaca. You can use any photo editor of your choice. You can even use MS Paint. However, something that will make this process a lot easier for you is if your program of choice has layers in it and the ability to edit transparent PNGs. The techniques that I'll be covering are Sims 4 Studio Basics, texture editing with FireAlpaca, and package creation so that you can get your custom content working in-game. The first topic that I will be covering is Sims 4 Studio installation from start to finish. If you would like to skip over the installation process, I will put a timestamp on screen for the next topic, which will be Sims 4 Studio controls. A simple Google search, or whatever browser you choose, will bring up Sims 4 Studio, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first link right here, Home. Now if I scroll down, there's a section called Sims 4 Studio, and it has one for downloading and installing the Sims 4 Studio. I'm going to go ahead and click on the very first link. I'm going to close out of this ad. Again, I'm going to click on the very first link, downloading Sims 4 Studio. Since I have a Windows operating system, I'm going to click on the link for Windows. If you have a Mac operating system, you can click on the link for Mac. Unfortunately, as of recording this tutorial, the Crystal Creations patch has broken the community-tested version. However, the beta version is still available and will work just the same. Hopefully, by the time that you view this tutorial, this will be fixed, in which case you should be able to scroll directly down to downloads from this page. In my case, I am going to click the link for the beta version. Again, it will bring up another window, Sims 4 Studio for Windows. That is what I'm going to click. Sims 4 Studio for Mac, you can click on that if your computer is a Mac computer. You do not want to click this download button up at the top. That is Safe Image Search Extension. You can scroll down and you can see a brief overview of the Sims 4 Studio user interface, what it does, themes. They're just telling you what has been added in this update. I'm going to go ahead and scroll all the way to the bottom down here, and you want to find download links. Now I'm going to go ahead and download the installer. You can download the zip if you have a zip extraction tool. It doesn't really matter. It will bring up this Google Drive link. I'm just going to press download again. It's going to say Google Drive can't scan this file for viruses. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to click download anyway. Alrighty, now it has popped up right here. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the little thing we downloaded. This will bring up a Windows protected your PC. We do not want this. Whatever operating system you have may have protected your PC. Usually if you click more info, there is an option to run anyway. We are going to do that. It is opening up user account control. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Yes, I do. You have to accept this agreement. You can read it if you'd like. Click on the next button. You can install this wherever you like. I'm just going to leave it at the default. Click on next. I'm just going to leave this as B. Click next. And additionally, I would like to create a desktop shortcut. So I'm just going to put a little check mark in this box here. Click on next. You can review this if you want and go back to change things. I'm just going to click on install. Now, after you're done with this, you will get a very simple Launch Sims 4 Studio. And you can check this or uncheck this depending on how you want to open Sims 4 Studio. I'm going to go ahead and click on Finish. Now either Sims 4 Studio will launch or you will get a message saying that you must install .NET Desktop Runtime to run this application. Installing this is relatively simple. You just need to click the Yes button. That will take you to a website, which will immediately begin your download. When your download is finished, go ahead and click on that to open it up and install it. You may get a user account control pop-up asking you if you want this app to make changes to your device. You want to click Yes. Once this is correctly installed, you should be able to open Sims 4 Studio without any issues. Now that you have Sims 4 Studio installed, you can go ahead and open that up and we'll go over the user interface and controls. You can see a basic overview. We have my creator name. If you've never opened Sims 4 Studio before, this will be blank and you need to put in a creator name. So I'm just going to leave that there. If you do not have that, go ahead and type that in. You can use whatever you like. Now we have a lot of options here. We have online creator support, online users manual, my CC, my projects, and over here we have all of our tools for actually creating CC. We have animation, build, object, and create a sim. Within this tutorial, I will be retexturing a shirt. So what I want to do is create a sim standalone. Just leave that checked. And you want to go ahead and click on this blue button for create a sim. If you want your custom content to be accessible by the majority of people, you do not want to create it from a pack. You want to create it from the base game, which is just anything at the top here. Anything with a plumb bob. Within this window, at the very top, there are filters for what type of content you'd like to display. Most of these are fairly self-explanatory. I'm going to select human. We're just going to be editing a shirt or a jacket. Gender all, age all, part type, and I want to go down to clothing top since I want to edit a shirt. There are many options here, as you can see, so if you want to edit something else, just select the one that you would prefer. When you have found something that you would like to edit, go ahead and click on it to select it. I am going to choose this black jacket right here. Now, if you want to select more than one, it will allow you to. Make sure you only select one. If you select more than one, it will create swatches. For the simplicity's sake of this tutorial, I am only going to select one. And we're going to click on the next button. It's going to ask you where you want to save this. I'm going to save this in my Sims 4 CC folder under tutorial shirt. Now, I just want to call this tutorial shirt.package. And I'm going to go ahead and press enter or click save. Now, this user interface might look confusing if you're new to The Sims 4 Studio. Some basic controls: you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. The middle mouse button will allow you to move the character left, right, up, or down. And finally, if you right-click, you can rotate around your sim. Please excuse my cat in the background. He is very intent on helping me with this. So you have 4 tabs to the right-hand side of your screen. I will go over all of these in more detail later on. Meshes is the actual sculpt that this is, so that is how the jacket is shaped. Texture is the pattern on top of the jacket, and that is what we are going to be changing today. So if you go over to textures, you have some options here. You have swatches up in the top. You have swatch thumbnails over here, catalog thumbnails over here. And if you scroll down, you should be able to view the actual texture maps. There are 6 texture maps total. The diffuse texture map dictates the color of an item. This is the most basic texture map and the one that we will be editing today. The shadow map dictates the shadow of an item, how the shadows will fall. Specular is the shininess of an item. Normal is also called a bump map, which gives the illusion of more detail and depth, similar to a shadow map. Emission is the glow of an item, and color shift mask excludes parts of the texture from being affected by color sliders. This is mainly used for jewelry and other similar items. What I'm going to do within this tutorial is edit the basic colors and patterns on the jacket, so I will be working with only the diffuse map. So first of all, make sure that diffuse map is selected, and click on export. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as just tutorialshirt.png. You can save this under any name, the file name does not matter. Now we need to go into our image editing software. I will briefly go over how to download FireAlpaca and how to set that up. While the next section will provide a comprehensive overview of the FireAlpaca user interface and tools you can use within this program, you do not have to use FireAlpaca. You can use any image editing software as mentioned before. I will leave a timestamp on screen so that you can skip over this part of the video if you are using another tool or if you do not want instructions on how to edit image files. So a simple Google search for FireAlpaca will bring up this page. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the first link that pops up. It will bring you to this loading screen. I want to go ahead and click download latest version, which is at this current time of recording 2.11.26. Since I have a Windows computer, I'm going to click on the Windows download. I'm going to go ahead and click on my little downloads icon and open this when it is finished downloading. Now that it is done, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Click yes, you want to allow this app to make changes. English. This is going to be where it installs. I'm fine with the default. Next, next, and click install. I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. Now that it has been finished, you will see a little icon, or you can type in your search bar FireAlpaca and open it up. When you first open FireAlpaca, you will get a little pop-up window like this. You can either click OK or click the little exit button. Now, there are 2 ways to open files in FireAlpaca. There is a very easy way, which you can just open the folder that your shirt saved in and drag and drop it into this gray area right here. If you close that, you can also go to File, Open, and open it from there. Now, as you can see, you have a very basic layer right here. You have anything that is behind this, does not have any opacity. That will be important later on. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and change the colors of some things. So some tools that you might find useful, I'm going to go ahead and go up to Filter, and then I am going to go to Hue. This tool is useful for changing color, saturation, and brightness. Now I'm going to make this a very general greenish blue. Some other tools for changing colors, I'm going to go to a new layer down here in the corner. Hide this layer, that is what the little gray dot is. On each layer you can select it. Whichever layer is selected will turn out blue. Whichever layer is not will be white. And this little gray dot shows whether or not a layer is showing. If the gray dot is present, it is showing. If it is not, the layer is not showing. So layer 2, we're going to go to layer 2, and I am going to make this just a general blue-green. The color select wheel is in the top left corner. You can just click on this, drag it around. The circle on the outside is what hue you will be, and then the inside is saturation, brightness, etc. I'm going to go over to the fill tool, and I'm just going to make the entire thing green. Now that looks pretty terrible. So we do not want just a green jacket. What we can do is we can turn on clipping, which will allow it to only be where the texture is. Next, I'm going to go to blending, and I am going to go to hue. Now that we have blending and hue turned on, you can see that these are a much more green than they were before, and that is what I wanted. You can turn the opacity up and down if you would like to retain some of the original color. I think I'm very happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and merge this layer down. You do not have to do this step. You can leave it unmerged. It will merge when you save. Briefly, I'm going to go over how you can get rid of certain textures on an item if you do not want them. I'm going to go ahead and select the area that this little rabbit guy is in because I don't want him here. I want to replace him with something else. Again, I'm going to go to a new layer. This tool in the corner on the left-hand side is a gradient tool. If you right-click anywhere in FireAlpaca on the image, it will automatically grab that color and put it into your colors in the top. You have a primary and a secondary color. The primary color right now is this gray, the secondary is white. If you want to switch them, you can click on them, either one of them. I want my secondary color to be this darker gray at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and right-click down at the bottom. And now with this gradient tool, I'm going to go ahead and drag up from that bottom. I think that is pretty good. I can go ahead and deselect this. I can either go to select, deselect, which is also Control D, or I can grab my selection tool and click anywhere outside of the selection, so anywhere in this blue area. As you can see, my blending looks pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and merge that down, and I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the tools over here to make it look a little bit better. I'm going to go to the pen tool and make sure that I'm on brush. The brush is the very top left-hand tool. What I'm doing in this section is selecting colors with right-click and using left-click to draw them in where they would go. We are going to go ahead and blend this later. Don't worry if it looks blocky. Now if you zoom out and it looks relatively correct in terms of shadows, lighting, etc., you can go ahead and go to the smudge tool, which is in your tools in the left-hand bottom corner. I'm going to go ahead and click smudge and just go ahead and wiggle around what we have just done. You can also use the blur tool. I personally prefer smudge. I feel like it looks more natural. The step I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be opening another image file. I'm going to be copying this either with Control C or by going to Edit Copy, and I can paste this into my current FireAlpaca window using Control V or Edit Paste. Next up, I'm just going to be fine-tuning some little details. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and merge that down. Now I have my little logo, and it is on the back here. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and go up to File, Save. And it says layers cannot be saved with this format. Do you want to proceed? Yes, we do. And it's going to ask you again, do you want a transparent PNG or a 24-bit PNG? It is best practice to save them as transparent PNGs. 24-bit PNGs will work. That just means that it will not save the transparent background. It will save it as a white background. Now that that PNG file is saved, we are finished with editing our texture map, and we can go ahead and open the Sims 4 Studio back up. If you have not closed The Sims 4 Studio, you will not have to reopen your project. However, if you did, you can find it under the My Project section, and it should pop up as a link. You can also click on the button, which will take you to a folder, where you should navigate to where you saved the package file. I'm going to go ahead and click on Open. Since I haven't actually made any changes yet, it's still displaying the very basic jacket that I picked to edit to begin with. So we need to import our new texture map now. I am going to make sure that the diffuse map is selected, which is the map that displays colors and patterns. I am going to click the blue import button, and I'm going to navigate to wherever I saved that PNG file that I just edited. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Tutorial Shirt. I'm going to open this up. This will prompt a loading screen. And when it loads, you will be able to see the changes that you have made in The Sims 4 Studio. After this, there is only one more step that we need to look at before we can import this package file into our mods folder and get it working in the game. I'm going to move over to the Categories tab in the right-hand side. This tab will change the way that your outfit displays in the game when you're in Create a Sim. So I don't want to change the outfit type, which is still clothing top. The age and gender flags, I'm gonna leave those alone. Adult, young adult, elder, teen, and female. That's perfectly fine. Age appropriate should be the same as you set for age and gender flags. Fashion choice, you can select either or both of these. However, I will mention, if you don't select either, it will not appear in Create a Sim at all. If you select, for example, if I were to select this jacket for masculine Sims as well, it might not appear correctly in the game. There might be some issues with the actual mesh itself because it's not designed to appear on male Sims. It might work all right, but you may have issues, so I would recommend just going ahead and leaving this fashion choice alone. If I scroll down, there is an occult option. This is what kind of occult Sims can wear this. If I scroll down further, it's outfit type. You can select anything you would like for this. I'm going to leave it be. Color palette, I will actually go ahead and select some different things for this. I would say this is goth, rock, punk, grayscale, dark. If we scroll down further, it's the type of fabric that's used. I'm going to leave it alone. Archetype, I also leave this alone. I don't select anything. Style, you can select anything you'd like. I'm going to leave it be. I'm also going to leave vampire style unselected. And colors, I am going to select black, green, and I suppose blue. And subpart type, it is a jacket. That's correct. We're just going to leave that be. Part flag, allow for random. So this means that random Sims that generate in the game will be allowed to wear this item that you have created. If you would like to only manually put it on Sims, you can uncheck this. I'm going to go ahead and allow it for random. Restrict opposite gender and restrict opposite frame. I'm going to go ahead and leave those unchecked. There is one more tab over here. There are 4 tabs total. The tuning tab, I will briefly explain what that does. So the tuning tab will change an item's in-game behavior. Ours still is a jacket. It still works like a jacket. We don't need to change anything. You don't need to change anything usually for any item unless you are making something more complex. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave this tab alone. I just wanted to briefly cover what it was. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save down in the bottom right-hand corner. This will bring up a message saying your package has been saved. It is still in the same location we left it. Now there's only one more step to importing it to the game and getting it working. So if you have not navigated to your mods folder before, that is where you're going to put this. You will find this under Documents, Electronic Arts, and then click on the Sims 4 folder. Inside your mods folder, if you have not opened it before, there should be one package called resource.cfg. If you're already familiar with this, great. If you're not, that's okay. I'm going to open up the file where I saved my actual shirt package, and then I'm just going to Control C to copy, or you can right click and click copy, and then Control V to paste it, or you can right click and click paste. And that will just copy paste your package right over into your mods folder, and you can go ahead and open it up in the game, and hopefully everything will be working correctly. When your game has been opened, you should see your little package name under Custom Content. If it does not display, you can go into Options, Game Options, Other. Make sure that Enable Custom Content and Mods is selected with a green check mark. If it is not, select it. Click Apply Changes, and you need to restart your game for these changes to take effect. I'm going to click on New Game and make sure that my custom content is showing up correctly. I'm just going to remove any tags over here, click on the little arrow to open the filter panel up, go down to Content, and select Custom Content. And your custom content should be displaying. I'm going to go ahead and select this. If I rotate around her, you can see that, yep, it's in the game, it's displaying correctly, we have successfully edited a texture. And that is how you do it. You can go ahead and continue creating your sim as you normally would. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, consider subscribing or leaving a comment down below. Any feedback is greatly appreciated. It helps me to know what I can improve on in future tutorials like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. This has been IT.